Hello, everybody, and welcome to Room 3. Let's get ready to rumble. I am so excited. Great. Let's see if we get a little less feedback there. I am so excited to have all of you here today. I can feel the positive energy in the room and a lot of great things going on, great discussions, and I'm excited to share this time with all of you today. So for our Rotary meeting, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test. We've got a virtue reading and invocation. We have announcements. We've got Brad Horn is here to become a member. There you are. Yep. And special guest Katie is back. Katie, did you bring us anything from that bakery? It's not Spooner, but Bloomer. Yeah, I always get Bloomer and Spooner mixed up. It drives Natalie nuts. But Carrie's doing fellowship for us today. I've got a dad joke, and I am so sorry I forgot to update our program. We actually have Peggy here to talk about the Rotary Foundation. It's not club visioning, so you don't have to hear that 2 weeks in a row. Thank goodness. So let's start out with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic that stands one nation under God. Is it true? Is it very small concern? Will it be? All right, and it's time for our virtue reading. I love your style.
Okay, I chose this part. I'm just going to confess to you all. I'm going on a diet. All right. So now you better look for results within a month. Okay.
We'll be your accountability partner.
I chose self-discipline. Self-discipline is having the self-control to do only what we truly choose to do, rather than being blown about in the winds of our desires. Self-discipline gives us the will to persevere. It helps us to meet our goals, to be productive instead of procrastinating. It keeps us from saying or doing things we would regret. We are vigilant and honest with ourselves, which frees us to live by our highest values. We are able to weed out bad habits and cultivate good ones. Self-mastery is fulfilling to our souls. Here's the quote. Oh dear. It's from a Buddhism, okay? And Dhammapada or somebody like that. Those who make channels for water control the waters. Makers of arrows make the arrows straight. Carpenters control their timber, and the body and the holy control their souls. The practice of self-discipline. I have the self-control to make wise choices. I resist distractions. I persevere in my goals. I get things done. I have the strength to be tactful and carefully cultivate my character.
Thank you so much. And life is all about balance. You know, if you're going on a diet, I grabbed 3 cookies today. So it's all about balance. Suzanne, if you'd be willing to share your blessing with us, thank you.
Absolutely. This is an Apache blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's all relax and take a seat. And it's time for club announcements. Does anybody have any club announcements that they'd like to share?
Kurt, on the loudspeaker here over
yes.
Zoom. It's Chad. I've got to give a gambling update. I apologize. I'm not there in person, everybody. I am babysitting at my mother's house. She's got water flooding her basement. So I am sitting here waiting for the repairman to come. This was a late announcement. So I just got our quick gambling update here real fast for everybody. So in the month of December, I'm seeing myself here. In the month of December, we had $123,000 in ETAB sales, which is the second most we registered in ETAB sales. So that's the good news. Unfortunately, our gross margin which can also be looked at as luck, or the probabilities of gambling was not that great. It was 12.6%. So overall, our gross profits were our 5th best performance for the month in ETAB sales at 15K. Paper tab sales, we're continuing to see some weakness in that front. We had $42,000 in paper tab sales, which was up, thankfully, from last month's record low of $37,000. But at that rate right now, we're making about 50%, or we're selling about 50% as much in paper tab sales as we were in past years. So that's ultimately driving down our total profits. But moreover, our paper tab sales were also pretty poor in terms of margin or probability gambling luck, however you want to refer to it, at 14.9% compared to our average of 16.6%. As a result, we posted net income about $6,000 this month, which is an improvement from last month at $8,000, negative 8,000, that is, not positive 8,000. So we're back in the black compared to being in the red last month. Overall, though, for some quick data, 2022 was our first full year of operations, first full calendar year, that is. We had total sales of over $2 million with net income of $74,000. So that net income figure includes all of our expenses for inventory, paying money to boxers, etc. So just a quick piece of information, or every little thought experiment. So every dollar we sell in pull tabs, e-tabs, bingo, etc. at boxers, Rotary generates about 4 cents per sale. Bottom line profit to us. So if you think about it, you go there and spend $20 on pull tabs, you're going to bring in about 80 cents to Rotary. If you want to go help build up our paper tab sales. All right, with that, we just got to go through our expenses. I need an approval after I go through these quick, and then I've got some gifts that we have to give today as well. Natalie's not available, so I'm going to run through our gifts that we're making today too. So starting with our expenses, we're going to have our $250 for CJ Made Easy, that's fixed. Inventory, $4,000. We're reporting less money there because we've had soft sales there. Fixed $2,600 for our Rotary team that's assisting in our charitable gambling operation, $2,500 for bingo, $10,000 for M. Peters, $1,200 for the city of Faribault, boxers, $8,000, miscellaneous $2,500 for a total of $31,050. Can I get a motion from somebody on the floor and then a second?
Do we have a motion? George Wickstrom would like to make a motion, and how about a second? I see Eric Craig was the first up for a second.
Wonderful. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Excellent. Okay, now to our donations. So we have 3 donation requests this month. We had $5,000 to allocate coming off a loss of $8,000 last month. So we weren't sure what profits were going to look like this month to allocate money. So we have $5,000 in gifts to approve here. The first $1,000 is to Bethlehem Academy, and the second $1,000 is to Faribault Middle School, and this is for Project Close. This is a program where students are traveling to Washington, D.C., and our donations are helping refund the travel costs. Can I get a motion for those 2 expenses? Someone with a first, that is.
Dick Houston was, I think, the first, and then how about the second? Laura.
All righty, all those in favor? Excellent. All right, we have $3,000 here to approve for South Central College. These are for academic scholarships. And this is our last one of the day. Then I'll hand the floor back over. Apologies again, I'm not there, but we're trying to get through it quickly. So can we get a first for the $3,000 South Central scholarships?
I think Carrie's hand was up first. And then
Carrie?
birthday girl Becca was up second. So I'm sure she.
Who's our birthday girl?
Becca.
Becca? All right.
Chestnut, not 3.
All righty, all those in favor of $3,000 to South Central, can we get an aye and then hand it back over to Mr. President?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much, everybody.
Chad, are you calling from home?
I'm at my mother's house.
You're at your mom's house, okay. Now,
Yeah, no, this would be my house. All this blue and teal and all this fun stuff. I'm babysitting here because we're getting somebody to come look at the water that's flooding the basement right now. So not good stuff. Thankfully, not my home.
Sorry to hear about that, but do I remember that you have a pet bird? Is that correct? Am I remember that?
Yes, but that bird is at my house. This is at my mother's house. And we're also getting a dog. So all the fun stuff.
Okay, well, sometime if you call from home, we'd love to meet your pets.
All right.
Thank thank you so much, Chad. We appreciate everything that you and the charitable gambling team do. And, hope everything goes well for your mom and her patient with your.
All righty, thank you.
So, here with me as I switch over the technology here. Yeah, that's what I should try it because you know what happens. It's too confident. Okay, so, any other club announcements? Yes, Becca. Here you are.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a save the date. As you know, it's that time of year, our favorite banquet, Stride Banquet is coming up. We have set the date. So mark your calendars for Sunday, March 5th, starting at 5 p.m. This year, we have 35 Stride students who we have invited. So we're super excited to see how many of them come, and we'll keep you posted. We'll do a sign-up sheet for our members as well, so we get a head count, so.
Very good.
I didn't get the date, March what? Fifth.
Always so much, fun to spend some time with those students that participated in that program. Congratulate them on their hard work. Great. Here we are.
Another word on Strive, we had our Strive session today, and, old friend Franz Bolter, spoke to the students. And he did a tremendous job of inspiring students, walking them through a little bit of his own journey and how people had come along the way to mentor him, how decisions he made opened doors for other possibilities. And it was a great inspiring, talk today.
Thank you so much, Greg, and to the Strive team. Any other club announcements? No. Okay, well, we have induction of a brand new member, so let's call up, Brad. Welcome. There you go. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, well, fellow Rotarians, it is a joy to add new members so we can continue to make a tangible difference locally and around our world. Today we welcome Brad Bourne. You've been chosen to membership in the Rotary Club of Faribault because your fellow members believe you are a leader in your vocation and because you manifest virtues which fit the overall theme of Rotary, which is service above self. The object of Rotary is to encourage and to foster the ideal of service, and in particular, to encourage and foster, number one, the development of new relationships in the club, leading to new or better service opportunities, and these are meant to be fun. Number two, high ethical standards in business and profession. Of course, we understand this from Riverbend, understanding the ability we have to serve society through our unique professional talents. Number three, the application of service above self in personal and community life. And number four, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace, brought about by serving alongside those across our globe. So we charge you to judge yourself by the Rotary four-way test of the things you think, say, and do. As you can see over here on our banner, is it the truth? And is it fair to all concerned? And will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And I love it that George reminds us of this often. So, do you, to the best of your ability, live to seek out the Rotary four-way test?
I do.
Perfect. Let us inspire and encourage one another through Rotary to become a more virtuous people. And we can inspire again while having fun. So I'd ask all members to please rise. In the name of the Rotary Club of Faribault, I now formally induct you into our club. Please welcome Brad. Right, you may be seated. And we have for you this wonderful certificate of membership that you can display proudly. Then we also have for you a four-way test quest. Remind you of that four-way test quest, and we're not done. We have this pin that you can wear, much like mine, that will just give, conversations about water. That's fun. And Dr. Houston, a lot of good conversations come out of the pin, correct? They do. Love it. All right. Once again, please welcome Brandon. Picture? Yeah.
Get you in the middle there. Middle of the band. Oh, yeah. Okay, you stay.
All right, and I'm gonna turn it over to Carrie for fellowship.
Okay, we have a lot of birthdays in January, so this week we are celebrating 4 birthdays. Juanita, some people are on. Juanita's birthday, it was her birthday on the 21st. David Bernacki on January 23rd. Baron, sorry. Becca is today. And Dean Purdy. So let's sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Happy birthday to
We have some visiting Rotarians with us today. Lois. Right there. And Kathy. Okay. I was telling David, about how I was, anxious about doing fellowship. I'm second here today too. Welcome, so welcome. And we have some guests with us. Megan has a guest, Drew. Megan's with us.
Oh, sure. So Pastor Drew is our new associate pastor at Our Saviors. He's coming to us from Berlin, which is in
South of Canada.
Thank you. It's just been such an amazing part of our staff, and I wanted to meet some awesome people, so.
Welcome, Drew.
Hi, Drew. Hi, Drew.
Thank you. And if you have a guest, Brad. We just didn't. So, and then we have some new faces over here that we can get on.
Paul's not next.
Oh, not yet?
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, then we'll start over here for fellowship. We have Bella.
Right, I'll be quick. A lot of interest about the Cop House project, which is great. Paul Roach has volunteered graciously to be the co-chair of the exploratory. So we'll try to meet after the meeting today, just real quick, and just get some things done, 10-15 minutes tops. And anybody else who's interested, please let me know. Anybody who doesn't know about it, hasn't had a chance to see the video or doesn't know about it, please see me after the meeting or whatever that is. So, thank you.
Got a couple dollars. One is for Peggy. Peggy's with the foundation team, drove down from the city today, so looking forward to your presentation. I'll chip in and then she said she needs some windshield washer too. And now my friend Paul, he's playing in the Gribble alumni basketball game in a couple of weeks. So hopefully he doesn't come back with black eyes or Spanish or not. So good luck.
Come get Brent to play.
I'm too old. I'm too smart.
flyers and some of the tables I've been bringing up with me today, that Bruce House is having our Helping Hearts event. This will be our first time in person in 3 years. It's at the American Legion on Saturday, February 11th. If you haven't been, it's just a really good time. We're gonna have a live auction, a silent auction, the ever popular dessert auction is coming back. So, tickets to this are $99 each, and that does include a meal. You can scan that QR code on this, and there's one at this table here, or see me, or visit our website, brucehouseunion.org. We'd love to see everybody there. This is our biggest fundraiser, supports women and children in our area, and funds our transitional home.
I'd like to tell you, after 72 years, that's what I've been, gonna be married on Tuesday, this Friday, 72 years.
Just to follow up to what Brandon was talking about, I sent an email out to everyone with the link that we sent before the Comcast video, so if you haven't had a chance to see it in your last week, please look at it, because it's a very well project.
Happy to be here today. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. Most of you know tax season's among us, so I probably won't be here very often, but I'll get here when I can. Congratulations, Roger. That's pretty impressive. I'll be happy to live in 72 years. That's pretty impressive, but great to see everybody.
So I want to congratulate you, 272 years. You look like you were a child groom. So, what I put my money in for, I'm so amazed that this happened to me, but I don't know if you shop Aldi's, but I shop Aldi's. And so I was at the checkout and I put my card in, and the cashier said, take your card out. This is your lucky day. Someone had gone in and given donations, paid for people's groceries.
Wow.
And, I heard her give someone else, while I was still packing my stuff, groceries. She said it was a very kind gentleman. I said, I think I need to pay it forward. And he said, she said, that's what he has in mind. So I just thought that was so amazing. Thank you.
Wow.
Happy to be here today, go down from school while I come back to the week. That's good in town, by Rotary. I had a really cool experience this past weekend. I took part in the national home eagle survey, Eagle Center Water Shop. And I got a new route in Wisconsin, and I was hoping to see some eagles. Not only saw a few eagles, I saw over 100. All in one area, and it was very overwhelming. Very experience that I had to go to last Wisconsin. So.
I put in a 10 because I want to take the next 20 minutes. I'm just kidding. This will be short and sweet. I haven't been able to come in person. As you know, I transitioned jobs, and I didn't want to be that person that took a 2-hour lunch on every Wednesday right away. So now I feel like I can slack off a little. So I'll try to be here a little bit more. But I wanted to tell you, I had a happy week last week. I got my book. Guys, and thank you for your encouragement and support.
You wanna say a word about the book? I'll put in an IOU, so I said a little bit about skiing last week, went skiing to Breckenridge over the weekend, and not lying at all, I feel so good to be out of that trip. I went with my son, I knew what he'd wanna do, which was really challenging terrain, so I'm here in one piece. About that. Yeah. You might think that I'm lying, but I'm not. Feel really good. And then wrote a book on the way called Unreasonable Hospitality, and would highly recommend that book to you all. It's a really fun how to treat people, that little book, so.
First, Brad, welcome to our club. Glad to have you here. I had a really nice weekend up in Stillwater. They had the International Snow Sculpting competition. There was 12 different countries involved. We got to connect with our dear friend Kelly Nygaard. She makes some awesome connections up there. The people that she's connecting with up there were just dynamite. She says hi. And this is you all down here in Fairfield. That was certainly there. So hi, Kelly.
I just wanted to kind of echo, the Roots House event. It's gonna be so much fun. Last year, we couldn't do it in person. But I bought 4 quilts. I didn't think, I thought someone would outbid me on at least one of them. So if you wanna see some of the cool things that are gonna be in the silent auction, we have 3 of those quilts in our youth room at our seniors, so you're welcome to come in.
Well, as a visiting Rotarian, I'll just acknowledge, I really appreciate the time I've spent with Brenda DeMars. We are old neighbors in Medford, but learning about foundation, of which I'm already making a date here with Dick to talk about, and also the whole gaming concept. So appreciate it, and you'll see me again. So there you go. Thank you.
A couple of things. A couple of weeks ago, when I was here, I talked about the importance of going to meetings and learning stuff from other people, but it's also, you know, I've talked in the past about visiting other clubs, and I got to thinking about that. And as we look around the room here, some of the things that we plagiarized from other clubs are the banners that are up, that people get to see every time they come in and tell where we've been and Rotarians for the last 100 years. The red and blue name badges that have worked really well, getting people involved in our club. That came from Alaska. The community garden that we have, that came from Rochester. The flyers that we sent out to over 14,000 homes came from Steamboat in Colorado. The compounds, that is such an exciting project that's going forward now, came from St. Cloud. And just down the road came a really big one from Janesville, and that's pull tabs. So we've learned a lot from other clubs, and I would encourage you to go visit, because every once in a while you're going to find something that's going to really help our club. So that's number one. I got some more stuff. Rotary is on now, and one of the new focuses is the environment. Something that we can all do very easily is find a license plate that has that for the critical habitat license plate. They're really nice, you know, and there's like 6 or 7 or 8 of them. You know, the bumblebee is the last one. There's a chickadee, there's a state flower, there's a deer, there's a loon, there's pheasant, and so there's a turkey, there's a moose, and all you have to do is go down to the motor vehicles place. It costs $17 or $12 for the plate fee and $5 for the transfer. You can do that anytime. Just walk in and say, I want a new license plate. And then it's $30 a year that it costs you to help the environment do critical habitat. I printed off some of the plates here. There's some copies back there. Take one home. Also, I've got more of the flyers back there. So take some of those and put them out for people to see them. I want to congratulate David and thank him. David has taken on the role as the team lead for the district membership team. Let's give him a big hand.
And a couple of weeks ago, I also talked about, something that we learned from the district about, the impact that we make by identifying the number of people that we do and keeping track of it. And I want to congratulate the, people from, Roost House. If you look at their invitation, they provided 7,000 nights of housing for people that need them. So, they're making use of that impact figure also, so, thank you.
With your permission, I'll stay seated. A couple of things. I just went to my doctor's morning. Down at Old Town, rather than Clancy, he's an orthopedic surgeon. And we went through a bunch of x-rays on my back and how the nerves in my back connected to my leg and so forth. And I have an appointment with him a week from tomorrow. And he's going to give me some treatments that are supposed to be helping that. But, you know, this lady, this back problem is a problem. When you reflect on what's going on in the world, what was going on in Ukraine, I know I am blessed beyond belief. When you look at what's happening in our town in terms of people not having enough to eat, pay their rent and so forth, I'm blessed financially. My vital signs are all good. I've got friends that can be in Rotary. There was a program on CCO many years ago, Boone and Anderson. I had one of those guys who were Rotary program over in the Elks Club. And they also state Minnesota is the best state to get sick in. When you think about that, we've got Rochester Clinic, we've got a good clinic in Redwood, we've got a good hospital down in Owatonna, we've got Mankato, we've got Northfield, we've got Faribault, we've got the city. We're surrounded with good healthcare facilities. I don't have any complaints, and I really understand how I take time every day to reflect on this kind of thing, because we are all blessed, and we need to recognize it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Awesome job today. So I've got a few bucks. One for Megan, who is one of the folks that has risen to the challenge to help with the technology, and I'm so grateful. There's been a few club members that have voiced interest in helping, and for Megan's schedule, it worked for her to come today to see how to set stuff up, and I'm so thrilled. And as I'm chatting with her, it turns out that that I live in her great uncle and aunt's house. And I love history, of course, especially, you know, related to that. And I knew I was the third owner, and I've had the chance to talk with the gal who had grown up in that house, whose name is also Peggy. And so thrilled to make that connection with Megan, and invited her to stop by and check it out sometime to see what I've done to the place. So I think that's neat. I love those small world stories. And excited to have Lois here. I met Lois several years ago when I went through the Leadership Owatonna program, which is kind of the counterpart to the Faribault program, and immediately was struck by what a kind, engaging person Lois is. She's one of those people that within moments of meeting, you're like, I want to be friends with this person. She's such a warm, kind person, and a great example of Rotary. And we're thrilled that you're here today. And we're working on trying to get her to also come to our club. Don't tell anybody what time. Dollar for George. I had the pleasure of having lunch with George yesterday, and I know he's extended that invitation to the whole club. If you have the chance, get together with George. He's got a great passion on so many different fronts, and it's really fascinating to sit down and listen to his thoughts. And I think that knowledge is power, you know. And even though some of the concerns that we talk about, like the economy and clean water and things like that, we might not have an immediate solution where we can personally solve the problem, but being more aware can help us make small steps to solving the problem. I know one of George's passions is to use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without, right? And just that simple mantra can go a long ways in our lives, not only to save us money, but to help with the economy and things like that.
What's your comment?
Yes.
People say knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied power. The difference.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, George. And then $1 per pay. Thank you so much for making the drive down. We're very excited. So let me get through this dad joke here, and then the floor will be yours. All right. So let's see what we've got today. Oh, this is my joke from last week. Okay, well, I don't know why my joke didn't update. However, I've got a joke that's not on the screen that I was giggling about the other day. So what do you call someone with no nose and no body? Nobody knows. I invite you to try and
My mom and friends, and my father is the name of my girl.
Did I hear somebody talking about a joke that's so dumb but so good? We'd love to hear it.
Teaching my almost 8-year-old to speak French, and so I told her a joke the other day. It was like, why do all omelets in France only have one egg? Because one egg is enough. In France, one egg is enough.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's very dumb.
That's great.
Learn something.
All right, well, it is hard to follow that wonderful jokes.
Would you like your computer on the lecture?
Well, if you can get it.
Yep, I can share your people, absolutely. Yes. All right.
And I have, just had a bout of pneumonia, I'm about 95% over it, but I still have this lingering cough, so. I'm hoping I can get through this without the hacking that I do. Got my water. All right, well, thank you so much. I'm Peggy Strong, and I participated in one of your meetings this summer. You recall, probably about 2.5 years ago. I was here to talk about the Rotary Foundation, which is why I'm here today. And I remember being very impressed with your club at the time, the energy, the people, the community you have here, and it's lovely meeting spot for your lunch meeting. So when I had the opportunity to come back, I said, heck yes, it's a great club, I'd love to come back. So thank you for allowing me to be here today and talk about the foundation. First, a little bit about me. I grew up in North Dakota, and I went to the University of North Dakota and got a degree in accounting, and then go to getting a CPA certificate, certified public accounting certificate. So from there, I came down to the Twin Cities, to the big town, the big cities, seek my fame and fortune, and well, I don't know about either of those, but I've been here ever since. And I did go to work for one of the big accounting firms in the Twin Cities for about 3 years as an auditor, and that was a learning experience, but not, I realized quickly that that's not what I wanted to do long term. So I looked for a business to get involved with, and I ended up going to Medtronic, which many of you have probably heard of. It's a medical device manufacturer that's headquartered and founded in the Twin Cities. And I worked there for 36 years, and the whole rest of my career was at Medtronic in a variety of finance roles there. It was a great career. My last gig was overseeing collections, credit collections, for all of Medtronic's US businesses. And of course, most of their customers are hospitals, which I came to find out. I mean, what did I know about collections? Nothing, but I had in my mind this, breaking kneecaps and things like that, but no. dealing with hospitals, they pay their bills pretty well, so it really doesn't do bad. So it's a good way to wrap up a long career, and try it. It was kind of hard for me to retire, because I started working, but I'm here to say that I found out that retirement's even better. It's a pretty good gig. So my husband and I live in North Oaks, which is in the northeast part of the Twin Cities in Ramsey County. And we have 3 sons and their families who are pretty close by, so we get to be with family a fair amount, which we certainly enjoy. So I'm here today representing, as was said, our Rotary District's Foundation Development Team. But I'm also a long-term member of the Arden Hills Shoreview Rotary Club. So I've been a member of that club for 26 years, and that is in the same area as North Oaks. It's the northeast suburbs. It's a smaller club. It's about half the size of your club, actually. We have 31 members. So in a small club like that, you get tapped to step up. You have to step up pretty regularly. And so I've been president twice. I was first president in 2001 and 2002. And then again, 15 years later, I was president again. I've been the treasurer. I've been a few other things. But I'm currently the foundation chair for our club. When I joined Rotary, I was mostly intrigued about wanting to get to know my local community better. And that's what really drew me to Rotary. I really wasn't even aware, frankly, of the global aspect of Rotary at the time that I joined. So that was my reason for joining. And I've been, I think, a very dedicated Rotarian all this time. Never thought of quitting in 26 years. Been very active, attend almost all the meetings when I'm able. But I have to admit that until about 5 years ago, I really didn't do much of anything with the foundation. In our club, I think ever since day one, they made a decision to include some amount of contribution in the quarterly dues. So each member in our quarterly dues, we're paying $12.50 a quarter. It ends up going to the foundation. So that's about $50 a year. So every member does contribute $50 a year. But until about, I don't know, 5, 6, years ago, that's frankly all I did. Sorry to admit that now. But it wasn't until we had a presentation at our club, maybe similar to this, although the presenter was much more effective than I know I will be. But it was Kyle Haugen, who was our district governor, I think at the time, or maybe it was 1 year before or after. But anyway, he was a very effective presenter about the foundation. And when I heard about the foundation before that, when I'd seen presentations, they were kind of all about the mechanics of how it all worked. And it's kind of dry and not very interesting. Didn't inspire me, but when Kyle spoke, he really focused on the impact of the foundation and what happens because of the foundation. And it just sort of hit me. It's like, wow, this is amazing. So I went home that day, I made a nice contribution, and I've been doing that ever since. I've become a major donor. The foundation has become my charity of choice. And today I'd like to tell you why. So I told you why I joined Rotary, and I think everybody joins Rotary for a different reason. They're all good reasons, I'm sure. But I think when people stay with Rotary, as I have, and many of you have, I think we stay with Rotary because we quickly realize what good we do in the world, can do and do in the world. And it's very inspiring to be a part of an organization that can have this kind of impact. So I think that's why people stay in Rotary. And this year, there's always every year there's a slogan for Rotary. This year, as you can see on the banner in front here, it's Imagine. So our theme, we're being asked to imagine the impact that we have in Rotary. We're asked to imagine a world with clean water for everyone, a world free of disease, a world where every child learns to read, a world without polio, a world with kindness and hope and love and peace. Imagine all the impact that we can have. And it's the foundation that is the engine that makes all that happen. All those good projects, they don't happen without the foundation, that's where the funding comes. So that's what I want to talk about, and a lot of good works to talk about. But before I do that,
I do want to spend just a minute on the history of the foundation, very, very briefly, but I think it's kind of interesting. So the foundation was established in 1970, or 1917, sorry, when the current RI president at that time, March Plump, proposed creating an endowment to create good in the world. The first contribution was $26.50. It came from the Rotary Club of Kansas City. They had some leftover money and they sent it on in. The first donation from the foundation went to what at the time was known as the International Society for Crippled Children, now known as Easterfield. I do think it's amazing and kind of coincidental that that very first contribution had to do with children and diseases like polio, and so it really ties in with what is becoming, of course, there's Rotary's biggest global initiative, which is the eradication of polio. So again, the foundation is the engine that gives us the ability to work on all these big things. I want to take another little, and I meant to say too, that total contributions over time to the foundation have been over 5 billion. So it's a very significant size organization. Again, just a real brief minute about how the foundation works, because I sat through too many boring presentations about that years ago. I want to make this very quick, but I think it's helpful to just to know some of the real basics here. So when you make a contribution to the foundation, you can contribute to one of 3 funds. On the left is Polio Plus, as it's come to be known in Rotary speak. It's all dedicated to the eradication of polio. Fund on the right is called the endowment fund. That's the money that's held in perpetuity. So it's always going to be there. And it is the earnings from those funds that are used to fund the good works of Rotary. The fund in the middle is the annual fund, and that's the one we usually really encourage, well, besides polio, encourage giving to the annual fund, because that's where we really see a lot of impact and ability to do things. So if you make a contribution to the annual fund, here's what happens. Rotary International invests those dollars for 3 years. And then after 3 years, money goes on the left here, 50% of it stays at the top level, world fund level. And that is used to fund things like the peace centers and peace scholars that you've heard about, and also to provide dollars to help with global grants. On the right though, 50% of what you or anyone has given to the foundation, 3 years later, 50% of that will come back to our district. And it's referred to as district designated funds. So these are the dollars that the district has to be able to help support projects that clubs like yours take on. So we really end up having some say in what we do by giving to the foundation. If you have a project that you're really passionate about wanting to support, give to the foundation, ultimately dollars are back, you can, propose a grant. So it's another thing that's really been very wonderful about the foundation. Another thing that was important to me when I had my aha moment those 5 or 6 years ago, because of my financial background, I suppose, is hearing that our international foundation is a very highly rated, highly regarded charitable organization. So we've earned 13 consecutive 4-star ratings. That's the highest rating from Charity Navigator, which is an outside body that evaluates charitable organizations. And so you can know that funds you give are being given to an organization that knows how to manage the money, doesn't spend too much on administrative things, and keeps most of it to people. So it's a very well-regarded organization. So the most long-standing area of global effort by Rotary, I mentioned, of course, you all know, is working to eliminate polio. This chart shows what was going on in the world in 1988, which is about the time that Rotary became involved working against polio. So in 1988, all the countries shown in red were 125 countries that all had polio going on. And there were 350,000 cases of active polio in 1988. So Rotary first got involved, with a grant. I'm not sure which club it was or who did it, but there was a grant to immunize all kids in the Philippines. It's polio, that's where it started. And it went from there. It, along the way, we've acquired many partners in working with polio. We've been joined by UNICEF, the Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, maybe most importantly, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We'll put very significant dollars towards the improvement of polio. So we've made great progress. As of 2021, this is what the map looked like. We were down to two endemic countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan being the only locations that still had some polio going on. However, as you probably heard, thanks to our pandemic, we've seen polio spring back up again, even in the US, as you know, all the controversies about vaccinations and perhaps the difficulty of getting vaccinations in some cases. So, we haven't won the battle yet. We have to keep it up. We have to keep moving and get past this current place that we are and back to working to have this what we map we all bring. And I know that your club is very generous when it comes to donating to Polio Plus. I look at the numbers. We're just 7 months into our Rotary year here, and your club has already collectively donated over $2,300 to Polio Plus, which is wonderful. And thank you for your very generous giving. The other big focus of the foundation is, as I mentioned, giving to the annual fund, and so those dollars come back to the district, and half of those contributions they come back and then they can be used locally. And your club has again been a leader in terms of both sponsoring meaningful projects as well as supporting other clubs with their projects. I don't have any pictures related to this, but I understand from my looking into this that in the last Rotary year, you took on a $75,000 project to supply clean water to children in Cambodia. A wonderful thing. And about half that money came from the foundation, either at the district level or the global level. You've also contributed to projects being led by other clubs. You've donated to a River Falls Rotary project to provide solar power to a home for abused girls in Jamaica. You've donated to the Wasika Rotary, and that's a project to purchase a large freezer to help families in that community with food insecurity issues. You made a contribution to the Stillwater Sunrise Club, and they're very large. They have a very large global grant project going on to provide clean water in the area of Nicaragua. You've been part of that. You've donated to Lakeville Rotary's greenhouse project in Peru, their food project. And you donated to Northfield Rotary in their books, Buddhist law books for Africa. Wow, so I'm definitely preaching to the choir here in terms of doing good works, because your club is doing a lot, and that's why I'm so happy to be here. But again, it's important to remember that none of these good works is at all possible without the foundation. And we need that fuel to make it possible. I'd like to show you just a couple of other examples of things that are happening or have happened in the last year or so within our district by clubs who have sought grants at the district and in some cases the global level to do projects. So the Rotary Club of New Richmond had a clean water project in Panama. They raised a total of almost $7,000 to install a school latrine and hand washing station, as well as providing some school supplies and repairs. The Hudson Daybreak Rotary Club had a food bank project last year. They raised over $22,000 and distributed 6 million pounds of food last year. The Stillwater Noon Club purchased $59,000 worth of medical equipment for a hospital in Africa. This one I was kind of intrigued by. I never heard this sort of thing. The Roseville Club purchased and distributed solar lights in Ethiopia at a cost of about $7,600, $7,500. It's a unique idea that has enabled people to do more later in the day when the sun's down. They can charge their phones, they can get even chores and homework done more easily. So what a good practical thing they have done. So it's so exciting to see all the great things that have been happening in our district. All made possible because of the foundation. I hope you'll all consider making a gift to the foundation, and one of the reasons I'm here today is to give you a little bit of advance notice about a district level initiative that will start soon. You'll all get an email or multiple emails, starting in the next few days. And it's about the annual Share the Love campaign. The district has done this the past, I think this is the 3rd year. And it's been a great way to publicize the need, as well as provide some additional incentives to people. Get some little extra bang for the buck in making a contribution to the foundation, and especially to encourage people to make the foundation. So how does this work? Well, we have folks around the district who have given lots and lots over the years, and as you give, you accumulate these points. They're called Paul Harris points. And so a number of our members of the district have lots of points available, and they have donated them to the district so that they can be used to provide some additional incentive for folks. So a gift of this, so for the month of February, if you give $100 to the Share the Love campaign, you will receive 300 points, so you'll get a 2-for-1 matching. And it takes usually $1,000, equivalent to 1,000 points, to get a Paul Harris Fellow. I'm sure many of you in the club have this one Paul Harris Fellowship. So this gives you some extra points to get closer to the next Paul Harris Fellowship. You make a gift of $365, and that's chosen, of course, because it's $1 a day. And you think of the other things you might spend $1 a day on, but you can't get coffee for $1. So yeah, when you think of it that way, it's a good way to use $365. You'll receive another 635 points from the district, so you will then be awarded a Paul Harris Fellowship. And I know in my club this has been pretty effective. Yeah, it's been very nice giving these results. Anyone who gives $1,000 will have some additional recognition on the district website and the ability to share Paul Harris Fellowship with others, grant them Paul Harris. So there are several ways that you can give. Some members give through what's called Rotary Direct, and that means you provide a credit card and allow Rotary International to charge that credit card once a month. And it's a very easy and relatively painless, less painless way of making a contribution. I think we have 5 members in this, and some give $85 a month, and that 12 months that becomes $1,000 in the Paul Harris Fellowship. So that's a nice way to go. You can always donate online through Rotary.org. You could provide a check to Brent, your foundation chair, and I'm sure you can help with that, or you could mail it directly. So recognition is nice. I'm glad that Rotary does what it does in terms of recognition, but frankly, most of us, when we contribute, we don't contribute because we want another pen or a point. We contribute because we're inspired by what those guys do. So just to remind you, you've already helped meet huge needs around the world with what you've done. You've helped with polio eradication. You've helped provide clean water in Cambodia and Nicaragua. You've provided safety for abused girls in Jamaica. You provided help for those dealing with food insecurity through the greenhouse project in food, the Lakewood project. And you've helped with food insecurity closer to home in Wasica. And that Books for Africa project in Northwood. So this is the real reason to donate. But more is needed. Project proposals in the last few years have always exceeded what the district can fund. So when a project is proposed, it's decided to be a worthy project, it will be granted some money, but it's not been able to be the whole amount. So clubs have had to come up with other ways of filling the gap there because contributions coming through the foundation have not been sufficient to meet the needs of all the projects that the club. So there's more that can be done, and more is still needed. want to wind up by saying thank you. Thank you for all the wonderful work you do. I can see that your club is still a very inspiring, engaging club. Glad I could come back today. I too am really kind of intrigued by your tab operation. Wow. That sounds like a fantastic thing. My club is always struggling, as many are, you know, to find good fundraising projects. So I'm going to follow up on that one. So thank you for all you do as active Rotarians. Support your club. Thank you for contributing to the foundation. Please consider making an additional contribution to the Share the Love campaign. And that's all I have, George.
Couple of things. One, I've given money in the past to the foundation, but I don't think I've designated any of the accounts that you told us about. Where would that money have gone, you know?
I could look for it, most of it is polio, but.
Okay.
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 Then the other thing is, if I choose to give money in the future, can I give one check and designate it to two, three different accounts?
You can, I think you.
Or should I
The
write
form
one
where you
check?
designate where you want.
Okay, yeah.
Should I write one check or three checks?
You can write one check in the form where you have to designate, and so Brett might have to help you with the form, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a form where you just put where you want it to go.
Yeah, but I mean, you can split it up though?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you can help with that.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, any last questions?
Let's hear a round of applause for Peyton. It's just so inspiring to see the work that Rotary is able to do, not only through donating, but then in turn through the work that Rotarians do as well. It's not just that we're check writers, right? We're doers. And this is another tool that we use to help really good. So just awesome. So thank you all so much for sharing this wonderful time together today. I really appreciate it. Go out there, be kind, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, nice meeting you. Thank you so much for coming in and,
Here you are. Here I am. You're one of them.